guys, what's up? It's Morgan, and this is the Paulandmorganshow. I'm making this video because I want to check in on you guys, and I just want to be real, raw, and honest with you all, because that's how I am. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know and in any of our YouTube videos, I just like to be real, raw, and just tell you guys what's going on. So here I am, gonna pour it all out for you guys. I think that we can all agree on one thing. It has been a crazy few weeks, a crazy 2-ish months now. Wow, like this pandemic thing is just incomprehensible, and yeah, I think we can all agree on that. So during this time, I have been struggling pretty intensely. It's just been super weird for me to like figure out like how to live during this time, and I know that I'm not the only one out there struggling with that. A lot of people have been sharing like, this is really stinking difficult and I have no idea how to process this stuff. And so I just wanted to make a video to just be real with you guys, but also just to remind you all that you're not alone. I know that I'm not the only one going through just crazy things, and like with this pandemic happening, it's like, it seems like anything else that happens during this time is just like way harder than maybe it would have been if this pandemic was not happening. And I know that I'm not the only one feeling that way, and that comforts me. So I just in turn wanted to remind you guys that you're not alone, and I hope that that does help you guys and make you like realize and understand like, okay, I'm going through a lot of crap right now, but like I know that I'm not the only one, and so that makes me feel a little bit better. I know that it doesn't fix the situation or anything, but again, any little comforts help. So I personally have been struggling. If you guys know, in the past, like I've made videos talking about how I struggled with depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts for several years of my life and was on antidepressants, and within this past year I have actually like been totally off of antidepressants now and not struggled with any of that stuff for like almost 3 years now, like with depression and whatnot, and like that is totally the Lord, and just his mercy and grace, and like praise God. But it's weird because I feel like the enemy has just thrown that all back in my face and like been just really like tempting me to believe lies and fears of like, oh no, if I'm struggling right now, that means that I didn't really overcome it, and that means that I haven't been a good daughter of the Lord's, and that means I'm not trusting him enough, or blah blah blah, just all these lies that are totally from the enemy. And I have been prideful in keeping those into myself and like refusing almost to acknowledge it a little bit, because I just, yeah, the fear of just being like, if I acknowledge that I'm struggling with depression right now, like that means I failed. And that's a lie from the enemy. That's fear, and that's pride of being like, I'm too good to be struggling with depression, or my faith is too strong to be struggling with depression. And like, that's not from the Lord at all. Like, that is not his heart, and he wants me to come running to him. Dang it, guys, I have tried to film this like 4 times, and this my neighbor's HVAC whatever fan thingy keeps coming on. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep going. It's a little annoying, but it doesn't last very long, so bear with me in the sound. So that fear and pride and like whatever was just building up in me, and basically I hit a really low, really dark place, and I was in denial about it. I was in denial about it, and like that is totally the Lord. And that's a lie from the enemy. That's fear, and that's pride of being like, if I acknowledge that I'm struggling with depression right now, like that means I failed. And that's a lie from the enemy. That's fear, and that's pride of being like, I'm too good to be struggling with depression, or my faith is too strong to be struggling with depression. And like, that's not from the Lord at all. Like, that is not his heart, and he wants me to come running to him. Dang it, guys, I have tried to film this like 4 times, and this my neighbor's HVAC whatever fan thingy keeps coming on. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep going. It's a little annoying, but it doesn't last very long, so bear with me in the sound. So And it was bad, and basically it got to a point where I couldn't keep it in any longer. Like, I was having meltdowns about the most ridiculous things, and I was being really just like intolerable. I don't even know if that's the right word, towards Paul and Michael even, and just like my attitude was just crap. And like I know that it was because I was just like keeping all of the stuff that I was struggling with in, and I was not communicating with Paul or just anyone in general. My family still like didn't know. It got to a really dark place a little bit ago, like several days ago, and it had to come out. And I knew that, and I also knew that like if I don't bring this out now, if I don't bring this darkness to the light, like I don't know how much darker it could really have gotten, but it could have been really, really bad. And so yeah, I told Paul, I told my pastor, and it was so relieving. It took such a huge weight off of my shoulders to be able to tell someone, and so that I was like no longer in that alone. But like just the act of telling someone was like such a huge step, and such a necessary step to be able to move forward and to get help and to start recovering and start making a battle plan of how we're going to combat this. And like it was huge, and it's so clear that the enemy did not want me to bring the darkness, the lies, the fear, the anxiety that I was struggling with to the light, because he knew that if I brought it to the light, it would immediately change. It would immediately begin to get fixed. Not saying that it immediately was fixed and all my problems were whatever, but like a battle plan, a strategy, wisdom started being shared with me and myself, and like the darkness, I couldn't hide anymore, because Paul knew, my pastor knew, people knew. So another thing that I was just kind of struggling with was the idea of antidepressants. So again, I was on antidepressants for like years, like 7 years or something like that. And I've been off of them fully for a year now, and I've felt great, like amazing, and that has been totally the Lord. But the idea of like having to get back on them, it was this pride thing, it was this fear thing of like, what? I can't get back on antidepressants, I can't like get back on medication right now. Like, can you imagine what the haters are gonna say? Like, ha ha ha, I told you so. Like, that's where my mind started going, which is just ridiculous. And again, it was pride. It was like me worrying about what other people were gonna think about me, etc. And basically Paul and my pastor were both like, Morgan, if you need to get back on antidepressants, that's not a you've failed, ha ha ha, or a oh wow, your faith wasn't strong enough type thing. That's the Lord providing like help for you, which like I totally know that and believe that. But again, the lies of the enemy were just really screwing with me, and the fear and the whatever. And so, you know, that has been something that I've had to kind of like acknowledge of like, okay, like if I need to get back on antidepressants, I need to get back on antidepressants, and like there's nothing wrong with that. As of right now, that is not what I'm doing. I do not feel like that's what I need to do, and I have plenty of people in my life, including my psychiatrist, who are helping me and leading me down the path that is best for me. So I just want to put it out there. If I see a single comment, or if Paul sees a single comment that is saying get back on meds, it will be deleted, and you might even be blocked from our channel. I just don't need that. I have people speaking into my life that actually know me personally, and my psychiatrist, who is actually a psychiatrist and has the authority to tell me whether or not she believes I should get back on medication. And so I don't need someone from the internet telling me what to do with my life. Love you, but no thanks. So just need to put that out there. Since my breakdown though, I've been able to recognize the things basically that have built up to me getting into such a dark place. I don't know if I worded that right, but I think you get what I'm saying. And like so much of it was this denial. So much of it was like refusing to talk or tell someone about it. But a lot of why I've been struggling is because, one, routine. Routine is really, really important for me, which is so weird because stinking noise again. Because I have been, and I am still, such a free spirit. Like, I'm so much a go with the flow, la la la, but even in that, I still have routines. I have like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I know that I'm gonna go work out, and maybe even on Thursday I'll work out too, or you know, I have certain jobs that need to be done by this and this day, and church on Sundays, and you know, this and that, and but whatever. There's so many things that have been totally just like thrown to the wind. And although like I'm still doing like workouts and church and whatnot, it just is so different than what it was before this pandemic. I'm sure so many of you, all of you, can relate. I realized that my routine has been thrown off, but I didn't realize how important routine was to me and is to me. I didn't realize that until recently, when basically me and Paul sat down and we're just kind of thinking like, okay, what has led me here? Why am I feeling so heavy? Why do I feel like I'm struggling? And it's like, what things are missing from my life right now, or are just like crazy in my life right now? And yeah, we just kind of recognized that, dang, routine was so important for me. And I think routine, or just knowing certain things are going to be happening in a week, in your week or whatever, is super important for anyone who's struggled with depression, because something that people with depression struggle with is like feeling like life is pointless. There's nothing to do, I have no purpose in life, or la la la. There's all kinds of things that you struggle with when you're struggling with depression, but one of them is just, for me anyways, was just like feeling like life is so pointless. And so when I had a routine, and when I have a routine, it feels a lot more purposeful, and it's important. Obviously, another thing that just kind of led me to my heaviness was the crisis that we're going through in this world together. In general, like, it's just a heavy thing. It's just weird. It's just incomprehensible. Like I said, like, nothing like this has ever happened before in my lifetime, in a lot of people's lifetimes, maybe ever. And it's just weird to know how to handle it and how to process it. So that has been obviously an issue. And then of course, just like I said earlier, other things that have happened, like financial strain maybe, or just like trying to figure out where Paul and I are going to live eventually, because we can't live with Michael forever, and like how are we gonna move, and blah blah blah, like things like that. And you know, if you saw on my Instagram, my grandpa passed away, and my grandma is currently in self-isolation because they tested her for the virus, and they're waiting for results to see if she has it or not. And it's just really sad, and like we can't have a memorial. It's just really weird. Like, how do you process this grief when you don't even, like, grief, someone passing away is hard enough, but then like now we can't even have a funeral for him. We can't even like get together with family and like memorialize him. Like, it's just really weird and challenging to figure out how to process. So like, yeah, just lots of things just piling upon one another, on top of me just not being honest with myself and not being honest with Paul, and like letting him know like, this is really, really hard, and I am actually struggling with depression, like, whatever, just, yeah, so, all of that, it's just been crazy. I wanted to make this video and just, like, you know, talk about my struggle and how, like, things have been put in place now for me, to help me kind of grow and push past this and not stay in the low place. And I wanted to make it because I just realized, like, wow, I do not want anyone else to feel the way that I felt. Like, to go as dark as I went and to fight the thoughts that I was fighting, like, if they don't absolutely have to. If I had been more honest with myself a lot sooner and struggled a little less with my pride and maybe like watched a video or read something about someone else or had someone encourage me, like, maybe I wouldn't have gotten to the low place that I got, because I would have been able to proactively address the struggle a lot sooner, and I wouldn't have gone to that low place. And so my hope is that I can encourage you guys out there right now. If you're struggling, if you're keeping it to yourself, if you're denying it, if you're trying to say like, no, it's just a hard day today, but like you've had a lot of really hard days like I had been having, please tell someone. This is not a time for us to be like living in pride or fear. That is exactly what the enemy wants. He is using this pandemic for so many things to his advantage, and we cannot let that happen. I just want to tell you, it's okay to tell someone that you're struggling. It's okay to tell someone that you're depressed. Even if you have not been depressed for 10 years and now you're feeling depressed all of a sudden, that's okay. We are in a very, very tough time, and it is okay to be struggling. It is not a, oh, you failed, oh, you don't trust God enough, oh, your faith is not strong enough. That is not it at all. And God has given us so many resources in this world for us to use. And if you have to get back on antidepressants, you have to get back on antidepressants. But before you can make that decision, you have to tell someone that you're struggling. And so please bring what is in the dark to the light today. Don't waste any more time. The more you keep what's in the dark, the more the enemy has power over you. Like, the enemy had power over me. I was keeping it in the dark. I was listening to the lies that he was speaking over me in my mind, and I was starting to believe the lies, okay? So please don't listen to the lies anymore. Please don't let the enemy have any more power over you. Bring what is in the dark to the light. God cannot step in until we do our part. Yeah, he could step in, okay? Yes, he is God of the universe. He could step in, but we have to do our part too, and our part is laying down our pride, is saying no to the fear and telling someone. I don't care if you're a Christian, if you're an atheist, what you identify as, what your sexuality is, I don't care. You're a child of God's, whether you believe it or not, you are. I believe it for you. And you are not called to live in such darkness. If you feel like you do not have someone to talk to, I'm going to link this below, and this is not sponsored or anything. I'm going to link the Faithful Counseling link in my description below and in the comment below. Use that if you feel like you don't have someone who's going to listen. So whether it's your parents, your grandparents, your cousins, your siblings, a pastor, a counselor from Faithful Counseling, just please tell someone and create a battle plan with that person. Like, ask them to help you write out on a piece of paper your battle plan of how you're going to fight this, how you're going to fight this struggle, whether it's getting back on medication or starting medication, whether it's going to counseling regularly during this time or doing it online, I guess, however they're doing it these days, or just making sure you're getting in the Word, etc., etc. Whatever it is, write it out. Read it every day if you have to. Every time before you even get out of bed, read it. And just be smart, you guys. Be smart. I personally am doing so much better after just addressing and bringing to light the darkness and telling someone. And I've just realized that during this crazy time that we're living in, I have to be so much more intentional about everything that I do right now. Like, I have to be so much more intentional. I have to be intentional about creating a routine. It's a new routine, but it's a routine, and sticking to it. Obviously, like I said, I'm a free spirit, and so I don't love like strict things, but something that I know, like, okay, I'm gonna do this every day. And so just as an example, one thing that I'm doing every day is going on a bike ride, as long as the weather permits. And if the weather doesn't permit, then, you know, I figure something else out to do inside. But like, yeah, just having that one thing of like, okay, I know that when I wake up, I'm gonna drink some water, maybe eat a little breakfast, and then I'm gonna go on a bike ride, and it's so good. Something else that I'm doing is just making sure that I'm checking in with Paul, my pastor, just whoever, my psychiatrist, whoever it is, just making sure that I have someone there that checks in on me at least once a week. Having Paul, you know, he does a really good job of just at the end of the night being like, so tell me how your day was, how are you feeling, is there anything we need to change up tomorrow, is there anything I need to do differently, etc., etc., and that is so helpful and so good for me. The only way that checking in with someone works though is if I'm honest, so I have to be honest. And then just doing little things that bring me joy, like baking, going on bike rides, watching a fun movie, being outside, whatever it might be. Like, there are so many things that bring me joy, and I just have to make sure that I put them like very purposefully in throughout my day. At least do one thing every day that brings you a little bit of joy. If that's blasting the music in your house and dancing around like a crazy person, do it. Whatever it might be, as long as it's not against the law or super sinful, do it. Guys, I love you all, and I just take our platform seriously. I understand that I have a responsibility, and in my mind, part of my responsibility is just being real with you guys and not trying to put up this facade of like everything's perfect in my life when it's not. I know that I didn't have to get as low as I got, and so if this video can help one person not get as low as I got, then my job here is done, and praise the Lord. Please do your part. I'm doing my part here. I did my part for myself, and I'm trying to help and encourage you guys. Please get the help that you need. Please reach out. Please, please. I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If it's pretty outside, get outside because it's so nice here. And I'm sitting in my car with the windows rolled down, and it is lovely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Have hope and be free.